Happy birthday, Rachel. This is your 27th birthday and I'm making you a video for your birthday for jam drops, which I think you'll love. They're delicious. This recipe is delicious. It's my favorite recipe. The biscuit part is really buttery and crisp and the jam is lovely and jammy and bright red in the center of it. So it's really, really good. The secret to a great jam drop is the jam, of course. And I was at Woolworths with your mum the other day. I was trying to tell her how important it was to choose the right jam for jam drops and what the difference was. And she basically called me a jam nerd and ran away. So she's right. I am a bit of a jam nerd, but it will make all the difference. I'll tell you which jam I like to use for jam drops. Here's all your ingredients, Rach. You'll need 1 room temperature egg, 1 3/4 cups of self-raising flour, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, 6 tablespoons of caster sugar, 125 grams of room temperature butter, and of course, strawberry jam. I love using this jam for baking, in particular jam drops and jam tarts and spreading in between Victoria sponge layers. It's got a great, thick, spreadable consistency. It's very sweet, but very tart at the same time. A really strong flavor of strawberries, and it's not expensive. So it's a very good one. You buy this one from Woolworths, and I highly recommend this brand because they do great spreads. What I don't like to use for jam drops is conserve. A strawberry conserve is one where they keep the fruit whole, so there's big lumps of fruit in there, so it won't sit properly in the indentations of the jam drop. So if you want to try using conserve, make sure you chop it finely or use a stick blender on it or something so it becomes a bit more smooth. So this is the nerding out portion of the jam over. Put your oven on bake and preheat it to 180 degrees Celsius. I've taken the grill part of the oven out, but I've left this middle tray here. I'm going to put the biscuits onto a flat tray. But I just wanted to say, if you don't have a biscuit tray, you can always use this one. You just take this out and put this one in the middle rack instead. If you're going to use this one as your biscuit tray, take it out before you preheat the oven. You don't want it to be boiling hot when you put your biscuit dough on it. Here's my biscuit tray. I think this is about 30 centimeters by about 25 centimeters, something like that. But you can use 2 smaller trays or a larger tray, it doesn't really matter. Or you can just do half of them at first and then do the second lot later, because they only cook for about 12 to 15 minutes. To set up your tray to make biscuits, you just need to spray the tray just around the edges with a bit of cooking oil or olive oil, it doesn't really matter. And then you put your baking paper on top. And the spray oil will keep the baking paper in position. It won't move around at all. It's very good. You don't need to spray the baking paper. You can put your biscuit straight onto that. So we'll put that to one side. And talk a little bit about what we're going to use in terms of implements. I've got a full cup measure and a 1/4 cup measure. I've got a tablespoon and a teaspoon. I've got my little trusty mix master, a spatula. I've got 2 spoons to put the jam in the biscuits. And this is what I bought you. It's a cookie scoop and it's perfect for getting biscuit dough out and putting it onto a tray really quickly and in consistent sizes. I really like it. Okay, so I've got my 125 grams of softened butter, and actually it was a bit warm under my window, so it's a little bit softer than I usually have it. When it says softened butter, it just needs to be softened around the outside so you can push your finger into it like 2 or 3 millimeters, something like that. You don't want it to be so soft that you can push it right through. And the reason for that is that butter needs to be firm when you mix sugar into it, because that introduces a lot of air bubbles into the butter and helps with the lift and the lightness of the biscuit. So if you were using like butter that's too soft and too melty, it wouldn't have the same consistency. But this is all right, it's still a little bit firm on the inside, so that's good. Now I'm going to add my 6 tablespoons of sugar, caster sugar. And I'm going to start on a medium speed, and it'll gradually start to mix together. I'm just going to add the vanilla. I'm just going to scrape down the edges. Now I'm going to add the egg, but I'm going to check it first in this bowl because this is Chris and Amy's egg from their farm, and I always check them and make sure they're right. If ever you want to check that an egg is fresh, you just put it in a bowl of water. I'll do that now. And if the egg stays at the bottom, which this one is, it means that it's still fresh. And I always put my eggs into a little container first before I put them into the batter, because you never know, you know, if there's going to be big blood specks there or egg shell or whatever, so I usually do this. That's fantastic. Farm fresh egg. Okay, so I mixed the butter and sugar together for about a minute or so, and I mixed the egg in there for about a minute or so, just until they're really well combined. Now we're going to put the flour in. I think I've told you before, be careful not to pack your flour too firmly inside there, inside your cup measurements, because you can end up with a bit more flour than the recipe actually needs. What I do when a recipe calls for cup measurements is I just like pour it in, because that kind of aerates it a little bit. And then I'm going to go to the sink and I'm just going to push that across, get rid of the excess. Actually, I'll just do it here. You should be able to. So then I just get my knife and go like that. I'm just going to make sure it's completely full everywhere. So then I've got a completely flat surface there. So pop that in. So it's 1 3/4 cups. So with this one, because it's smaller, I'm just going to go straight into the flour container. But again, I'm going to just fluff it a little bit before I get my flour measure. And I'm going to go across the top there like that, level it out. So I need 2 more of those, fluff it up a bit, and then there, level it out. 1 more. That's done. And I just want a little pinch of salt. Just balances the sweetness. If you were using, this is unsalted butter, if you were using salted butter, don't put that pinch of salt in. stuck to the glaze, so I'm just going to lift it up and I'm going to put it on high. And it will come off. And we'll just bring it together. I'll just roll my sleeves. You'll probably need to use your hands now to bring it together completely, because it's a biscuit dough, not a batter like a cake, it's a dough. So I'm just going to go like that. All right. So biscuit dough needs to be fairly stiff. So I'll just see how I go with this little cookie scoop here to see if it comes out all right and if I can roll it all right. If it's too soft, what will happen is it won't be able to scoop out properly, and also when you go to roll it into balls, the biscuit dough will just stick like a paste to the palm of your hands. If it's the right consistency, it will roll up without leaving any biscuit dough on your hands. So let's just try and see how we go, because my butter was a little bit warm. See, I'm scooping it up so that it's flat and then smushing it against the side there so it's a flat spoonful, and just clicking the little thing and it falls out. Doing this with spoons takes forever. I really like the cookie scoop method. The other good thing about having everything the same size is that they will cook at the same time. Okay, so that was all done. So now what I'm going to do is just roll them in my hands like that until they make like a nice round shape. This is rolling quite well. Sometimes if the dough is a little bit firm, it starts to sort of come apart a little bit as you roll it. So I just squeeze my hands a little bit more firmly until it all sort of melds and sticks together, and then gradually bring my hands out again, and that will make a perfect ball. Okay, so this recipe just makes such a gorgeous soft biscuit dough. It's just wonderful to use. So what I'm going to do now is make the indentations with my thumb. So we'll just do that. And I want a decent size indentation. Because this is such a lovely biscuit dough, it doesn't crack around the edges as you push your thumb in. So that's a little crack there, but you can just go like that. Now, if it was summer and you felt that these were just way too soft, because if they are extremely soft, then they'll spread a bit too much, and I want them to have like a nice sort of rounded shape. So you could just like put that straight into the fridge for 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever you wanted to, and that would sort of make them just a little bit cooler. The other thing I'm going to do is, because there's too many biscuits in this tray, to cook, they would all like spread out and run into each other. So I'm going to put some on another tray. Okay, let's see how we go here. Okay. These ones, because I'm making them just for Dad and I don't want to have to, I really shouldn't be eating like 12 biscuits or something. I'm just going to put these in the freezer just like this. This is called flash freezing. I'm doing it in the freezer with no cover on it. leave it in there, you know, for an hour or 2 hours. Sometimes I forget it and leave it overnight. And then they'll be hard, and you can just put them in a Ziploc bag and put them in the freezer. And when you need them to cook more of them, you just take them out, put them on your cooking tray, put the jam in them, and cook them from frozen, and they work really well like that. So I use 2 spoons to put the jam in. I just get half a teaspoon, don't put too much, and then just plop it in there. You can put the jam in after the biscuit's cooked, but I don't like it. I like the flavour and texture of the cooked jam. It kind of sets it, and it's a little bit roasty sort of. Okay, so there's our little jam drops. I'll put them in the oven now. I'm going to put them in the oven for, I'll check them at 12 minutes, and they'll probably be done at 13 to 14 minutes. The alarm has just gone off, so I'm going to check the biscuits. I always open the oven door and pull the biscuits out a little bit to check them, because sometimes they look a lot lighter in the oven light than they are when you actually see them in daylight. So I'll just move my phone away for a second because the steam will come out. Just a little bit light. They would still be delicious like this, but I might, actually they are a bit more golden in real life. I'm just going to do them for 1 more minute barely. Okay, here they are, and I'm happy with that colour. Nice light golden colour. Definitely try not to overcook your biscuits. Yum, yum, yum. These taste so good. Okay, definitely do not try and eat them now when they're hot. For one thing, they'll be really soft and they'll just fall apart in your fingers. And the second thing is the jam will be nuclear hot and it will just burn your mouth. So you leave it on the tray for about 10 minutes, and then you use a little slice, fish slice thing, and lift them out onto this rack that I've got so that the base of the biscuit cools down as well. See you then when we take them off. So these have cooled down now that you can handle them, and they'll hold their shape. So we're just going to put them over on our little baking tray here. If you were going to cook the second batch of cookies, you could put them onto this tray, but just make sure it's cooled right down before you put them on there. Are you enjoying those jam drops, Dad?
Oh, I'm loving the jam drops. Loving the jam drops.
Don't give it to Bean, Joe.
No.
Just give him a little bit.
Oops. That's definitely interesting.